There is a whole generation of people who will read West Philadelphia and can't stop themselves from adding born and raised in their head. Everyone has a moment where they realize islands do not float on the ocean. Bermuda Triangle might be the exit portal of this simulation. California is the nearest state to Hawaii, but Hawaii is almost the furthest state from California. Despite his shitty upbringing, Dr. Doofenshmirtz really tried his best to raise Vanessa. Since the Sun is 4.6 billion years old and takes 230 million years to orbit the center of the Milky Way, in his own years, our Sun is 20 years old. Women wearing men's clothing is almost never considered cross-dressing. Men wearing women's clothes is almost always considered cross-dressing. When it comes to hot food, there are two types of people: you either blow your food until it cools down, or you just go HASAHKFNSJGJKF until you can chew it. Everyone who's choked to death on their food knew exactly what their last meal was. We can't really blame bugs. If giants existed, we would probably explore their houses. Peekaboo works because babies can't imagine where you went. Once they learn to imagine where you went, they graduate to hide and seek. The same generation that was told to go to college so they wouldn't end up as strippers is also the one that sells their underwear and fart into cakes on webcams in order to help pay off student loan debts. Drinking water while you pee would look like a cool magic trick if we didn't all know how it was done. It helps if you imagine autocorrect as a tiny little elf in your phone who's trying so hard to be helpful but is in fact quite drunk. Of all the bodily functions that could be contagious, be thankful it's a yawn. Thinking that real relationships are like what you see in romantic movies is the same as thinking sex is like porn. Each bite of food you eat resets the countdown clock for starving to death. Glasses do make you smarter, especially in school, because you could finally see the board and know what the teacher is teaching. Woody says he was made in the 1950s, but he either sat on a shelf for 40 years or his previous kids were spoiled brats because the only kid he gives a crap about is Andy. No one asks what's in the other 50 areas. Spent entire childhood improving handwriting. Spending adulthood on keyboard. You don't notice the presence of bugs until you see one. After that moment you are hyperaware of all bugs in your vicinity, until your mind forgets about it again.